I have a question for you. Toronto home prices are up, sales are up, and inventory is down. Do you think that is a recipe for what? Hey everyone, this is Ari Armani, Toronto real estate agent, and today I'm going to answer to that question and also deep dive into the latest news in Toronto's real estate market. Alright, let's start with Toronto home prices. Toronto home prices have been up 21.7%. Sales up and new listings down. What does that mean? First of all, I would like to add that Toronto home prices have been up year over year for the past few years, for the most part, of course, and I don't think that's a newsworthy title anymore, but let's deep dive into what's happening right now. Alright, let's look at the charts. As you can see, in the past few years, Toronto home prices have been up and up and up. But we are going to look at exactly 1 year ago, what was happening in the market a year ago. We are going to click on the 1 year button, and then you can see a year ago, 30th of November 2020, the average home price in Toronto has been $955,000. Now the average price of a home in Toronto is $1,163,000. There's a very interesting number here, as you can see on the charts. A few years back, we couldn't imagine that average home price in Toronto be $1.1 million. But right now, if you look at this line, this is the $1.1 million home price. So if you look at this line, you will see that the 1.1 is almost becoming a support line for the average Toronto home prices. And since March 2021, we almost have been around or above that number, other than the 2 months of July and August, which it was slightly short or less than $1.1 million, the average price of a home in Toronto. But other than those 2 months, we are almost creating a support here that the average home price in Toronto is becoming solid about that number, $1.1 million. But that is not super important at all. The most important thing is the chart that I'm going to show you right now. Basically 2 charts, inventory and listings. As you can see in the active listing chart, you can see in November 2020, the number of active listings were almost 14,000 active listings in Toronto. Whereas right now we have almost 6,000 active listings. You see that's almost 58% drop in the number of active listings in a year. And now let's look at the next chart, which is month of inventory or inventory level. Again, you can see last year, 30th November 2020, the month of inventory in Toronto has been 1.6 month of inventory. And now the month of inventory in Toronto is 0.67 month of inventory, which is a tight seller's market. And that's the tightest seller's market that I've seen in a November. Alright, let's get back to the question that I asked at the beginning of this video. So sales are up, prices are up, inventory down. That would be a recipe for price increase, for future price increases, basically for supply shock. And the thing that the supply shock does is basically puts the pressure on the standing inventory. Now that we have 0.67 month of inventory in Toronto, that would literally pushes the prices higher and higher in the foreseeable future. Unless of course something crazy happens, for example, changes in rules, interest rates, stuff like that, which I'm gonna go deep dive into that topic in the near future videos. Let's get back to the report. Inflation, prime rate, real estate investments. Alright, I would like you to do the math here. Nominal inflation is 4.7%. Prime rate is 2.4%, and average Toronto home price has been up 21.7% year over year. Please do the math and comment down below. What would you think? When there's inflation, what would investors do? They hedge against it, of course. And what has been one of the best performing assets during inflation times? You got it right, real estate. Now you might ask, what if interest rates go up? Yeah, that's a fair question, and that will definitely have some effect on the market. Based on my experience from the past rate hikes, the psychological effects of that would be heavier than the actual monetary effect of that in the real estate. Now that you know that month of inventory in Toronto has been a record low in a November of 0.67 month of inventory, let me ask you this question. What percentage of the buyers would exit the market if interest rates go up? Please comment down below your thoughts about that. Alright, let's take a look at the condo market and detached market in Toronto. Toronto condo prices have been up 18% year over year with only 1 month of inventory. Let's take a look at the charts. Alright, on the charts, we are going to click on 1 year. And as you can see, the average condo price in Toronto is $715,000. A year ago, same time, average condo price in Toronto has been $605,000. Check out the sold volume. The sold volume has been up. And if you look at the active listings, you can see the difference. Over a year ago, we had an active listing of almost 6,800 condo listings in the market. And today we have less than 2,700 condo listings on the market available for sale. Now let's check out the month of inventory. Last year, same time, month of inventory in condo sector have been 3.3 month of inventory. Now it is 1 month of inventory. Means that if no new inventory comes to the market, all the standing inventory will be gone in only 1 month. And just so you know, that was the stats for Greater Toronto area. In Toronto downtown CO1, the average price of a condo has been $846,000. Alright, let's check out the Toronto detached houses. Detached house sector had the highest price increase in all the other sectors. Detached home prices in Toronto have been up over 30%. Let's look at the charts. We go here, click on 1 year. As you can see, a year ago, average detached home in Toronto has been 1.2 million. Now, average detached home in Toronto is 1.567. You can take a look at the number of sales from a year ago, which they picked in March 2021 and then went down. Then you can take a look at the active listings. That's very interesting. A year ago, we had almost 5,000 detached homes in Toronto for sale. Now that amount shrinked to almost half. That's what exactly happened to month of inventory. Detached home month of inventory from a year ago, which was 1.2 month of inventory, has shrunk to almost 0.6 month of inventory. I will put the link down below to the article, which you can go through the article and details of the numbers. To wrap it up, we are going to take a quick look at semi-detached and townhouses. Semi-detached house prices has been up 27% and townhomes have been up 28%. Alright, hope you enjoyed today's video. If this video brought any value to you, please share it with your friends and subscribe to my channels. If you have any questions or you need to book a consultation meeting with me, please send me a message. Hope you have a great day. Bye.